All right, so here we have an implementation that has the used the iffy design pattern to create for ourselves a namespace, right, where all our work is done, right? But this file is way too big, right? It has two controllers, it has a module, it has a configuration. Is way too big, right? So instead, what we want to be able to do is break this into smaller files, right? So we can deal with the complexity a little bit better. Okay. So what we're going to do is that we're going to have each controller be implemented in its own file, right? The configuration implemented in its own file as well, right? And the module in its own file. Okay. So let's start with leaving the module all by itself, right, in one single place, and then everything else separate. Right. So let's break those two things. Yes.
Professor, by separate, do you mean separate JavaScript files?
Yeah, different JavaScript files. Yeah, separate JavaScript files. Right. All right. So let's do that. Let's break up these into two, where we're going to have the app in one place, right, and everything else in a different file, right? So let's do that. So what we're going to do here is that we're only going to have. I'm going to save this as two different files. I'm going to save this as everything else. Everything else. Okay. So in my app file, the only thing that I really want here is just the app. Only the app. That's it, right? Plus any other things that might be specific to modules, maybe dependencies of other modules, any other dependencies to text Angular that we'll have a little later. But anything that is architectural wide about the modules would go here, right? Right now, it's just we have the declaration of our own module and the dependency on ng-route, right? But later on, we'll come back to this and make it a little more interesting, okay? And everything else is over here, okay? Notice that since we broke it off, this variable is no longer needed, right, because nobody's actually using that variable, right? Over here, we need to refactor this in such a way that this works. This still works, right? Somehow, I need to be able to get a hold of that module, right? It's been declared elsewhere. I need to be able to retrieve it, right? So the way we're going to do that, right, is by doing the following, right? We're going to do Angular. Well, sorry. We're going to have Angular, and we're going to remove this over here, right? And what this does is that this converts this into a read-only, right? When you have the brackets, right, the function, the dot module function, behaves as a write operation. I am creating a new module. Instead, when I don't have that second argument, it behaves as a read operation, meaning I am retrieving this module. Yes? Everybody okay? So this should behave exactly the same way. The only thing is that we need to load this into our index page. Let's load that into our index page. Let's see. Is this our index page? No, that's not it. It's this index page. There we go. We have our app.js and then everything else. Okay. Let's see if this still works. Let's see if we broke it. Okay, looks like it's still working. Right, I can load my profile. I can log in as Alice, or I can log in as Bob. Refresh. It still works. Okay, so we're breaking it up into one single file that just declares the module and then everything else. Right? Okay. Let's keep working on this. We're going to leave the app.js as it is, and we're going to break up everything else next. Right? We want to be able to configure controllers in one place, config in another place, and so on and so forth. All right? So let's do that next.